It's now time for us to dive into the first discussion segment. Like what I said earlier on, we have two segments, two sets of panelists. So we'll start off with this particular discussion. Don't forget that over the years, politics, they say, is a game of number. And you can choose to form coalition if you want to form coalition. You can choose to merge if you have the same purpose, the same spirit, the same heart, the same agenda. You can choose to say, okay, fine, let's come together to give this other party hit so we can come out tops. Having lost at the Supreme Court, former VP and the candidate of the PDP, former presidential candidate Alhaji Atiku Abubakar made a suggestion of a merger, saying NNPP, LP, let's come together. Let's form this coalition so that we'll be strong enough to edge out APC. And so many persons have been talking about this, been generating so many reactions. Don't forget that we have another off-cycle election come next year in Edo State. In Nigeria, in general, talking about the politics, do you see this merger one ever happening? If it should happen, will they have the force, the impetus to really edge out the ruling party? With me here in the studio to talk about this, I have an entrepreneur, political analyst, a politician. Yes, he said he is the man with Western mentality, though he's in Nigeria. Welcome, Honorable Etiosa Igebo, a.k.a. Sonny. Welcome, Honorable. Yeah, because I never believed he was here at about a few minutes past 7. I was like, what in the world? A few minutes past 7? It's okay. So they have this Western mentality. You get to hear, put food on the table, you won't see all these things happening. The issue now is the food. Give us food, we're able to think clearly, we know who to vote for. I call in the voice of the masses. Join me to welcome Okoro Osaho Obaraye. Welcome to
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Appreciate your coming.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. Talking about business, entrepreneur, real estate, political analysis. This young man is so vibrant and is vast in this particular dimension. Join me to welcome Good News Obayuwana.
Thank you very
welcome
much.
Welcome to TMI Sunday's edition. Appreciate your coming.
A pleasure.
Major coalition being formed. Now that is what is the end thing right now in our polity. All right, Atiku made that suggestions and Nigerians have been thinking about it. After all, how did the APC come into power? Via merger. And right now he's saying NNPP, LP should join forces and join hands with the PDP to edge out APC in subsequent election. I want to start off with you, Obayuwana. There's a reason for that. You so far the reason. But what do you feel about this?
Okay. Now, I will make a statement by starting with the words of a one-time politician, former Prime Minister of Britain. He made a statement that coalitions are formed as a result of fear and not of love. When a coalition like this is around the corner, it has not occurred yet, so we could still say it's around the corner. It's as a result of fear of the fact that power may not leave the hands of the power that be at the moment to those who crave for this power. And as a result of such, the only way you can tussle and and remove a strong man is to make yourself a stronger man. And the power of unity, that's what the other parties like the PDP, the NNPP and the LP are trying to seek, and it's being spearheaded by the the former vice president of this country, in person of Atiku Abubakar. That's actually the only way that they can actually counter what is actually going on in terms of the political space, because alone it cannot be achieved. If you notice, on the just concluded election, if only there was no division within the PDP, in the person of Peter Obi was still in the PDP. Imagine if you combine the votes that was being gotten by Peter Obi and Atiku alone, it's strong enough to unseat Asiwaju. So in other words, they have realized that if they were together, united, they would have been able to, you know, come up and emerge as the winner. And that's actually the last card they are trying to trade at this moment, considering the fact that they're still waiting the final, you know, judgment. So I must say this: that's the only way.
That's the only way?
Yeah, that's the only way.
All right. James Agibo, he quoted a British man, coalition being formed out of fear, not love. APC right now is occupying the position that PDP occupied a few years ago. And they said in the next 50 years, nothing will happen to PDP. They'll be in power. And to the dismay or chagrin of some PDP members, and of course to the excitement of APC members, after forming the coalition, PDP was displaced. So right now we have APC in power, with articles suggestions of a coalition being formed with LP and NNPP. If it had happened, should the APC be scared?
Well, I don't think there's anything to be worried about because this is like mercy after death. It's an aftermath of a disastrous display of political ignorance when they were challenging President Bola Ahmed Tinubu in the first instance. My brother did mention about considering that the case is still yet to be determined. I didn't quite understand which of the cases yet, because from what we all know so far, that the Supreme Court has pronounced, and President Bola Ahmed Tinubu was declared the winner. Even though, like I said, the Labour Party and the PDP cases deviated so much away from the cases they instituted from the start, which questions the vote, lawful vote scored by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. I believe when they realized that they were not making headways in those areas, they decided to look at other aspects on the way to unseat him. However, in my own, candid opinion, for every reaction there are equal and opposite reactions, for every actions. So I don't personally think that realizing that former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, the Labour Party presidential candidate Peter Obi, and the NNPP coming together will unseat the APC. Why? Because for every action there are equal and opposite reaction. Politics is purely practical engagement and strategy. So we in APC did mention several occasions and on these media platforms that for the fact that the Labour Party candidate has left PDP to Labour Party, which is the original stronghold of the PDP, which is the Southeast, it is evidently clear that Bola Ahmed Tinubu was going to win that election. People argued, and they put their emotions before the facts on ground. Because the politics is not played with emotion, it's pure tactical display of intelligence that will help you win. Whether people are trying to shortchange you, cheat you, or maybe have a competitive advantage over you. The ability to spot it, deal with it, prepare for it, and do the needful at the right time. So like he said, most of the things he said was very correct. And my own further addition is that there's no way the NNPP that has divided into two, and Labour Party that has been having problems at the center, which has also divided into two, and PDP that's almost practically diminished across the country, would form a coalition when you know that these people are very self-centered. Because it is self-centeredness that made Peter Obi to have his clearance with PDP when he realized that there was a hold which led to the fight between the FCT minister currently and Atiku Abubakar's faction in the PDP that made him to contest under the Labour Party. Obviously shows that there's this desire to want to be president. So the question we need to be asking ourselves, between Peter Obi, Atiku Abubakar, and perhaps the NNPP presidential candidate, so who will be stepping down for who?
All right.
Because that is the big question.
Big question. I'll come back to you on that. So, Barry, you are a political watcher, and most of the time, or all the time, you speak truth to power. Now, what do you feel about this suggestion, if it should come into fruition? Should the APC be worried?
Thank you so much, my brother. I think what is happening now is what you should expect after the fight. I get it now.
After the fight?
After the fight. As in, you now go back to say, that day, Wilson blew me for cheek. This time I'm going to either put plaster here and know how to fight Wilson back. What we should be scared about should be there, forgetting about greed. Not even the coalition. the coalition, yes, let it go ahead. By the time you now sit down also to say who will now become president, everything will get shattered again. So what I expected from them is to go back to the drawing board, to see how them as leaders can be able to rebuild structure, cut across. I still tell you, hate him or like him, you cannot take politics away from the man Wike. Because the man is a structure himself. So if you are saying you want to form coalition just against one person, if at the end, it happened in Edo, 1998, where the likes of our father and then later Neni, Obemudia, Isama came together to say, okay, let's form coalition. There was a meeting we were doing at Isama's house then. Some people there, at the end of the day.
Are you talking about the Grace Group?
No, that Grace Group was new. I'm saying 1998.
1998, okay.
That metamorphosed to PDP coming together. They were different parties. They had DPN, different parties then that came together to form a coalition. And during the meeting, they said, okay, how are we going to win the election? Now we form the coalition. And then he said, okay, let me hold the leadership of the party. Then Baba Esama, you bring your son for governor. Or where you are also a block from the group, you go to Senate. That was at leadership level. And it trickled down. So you saw there was no greed at that point. And immediately everybody went to the field. And the result came out positively. This one, you have a man since 1999, the man Atiku. Since 1999, he was still a youth. Now he contested, now he's now a grandfather, a great grandfather. You are still talking about you want to rule a country. Why not sit down to say, okay, since we've made mistake, I have the money that I can throw away for election. Why not group and groom New York leaders as a leader to sit down to say, okay, you go to this school of leadership, you do this, you do that. Why not start from even your state, Adamawa? Your state, Adamawa, start from that place to say, okay, let me make this place the signature of all. So when you hear them talking, it goes to tell you that they are not, as well as far better in leadership and than most of them here. Because the reason why I tell you, say, show me your face, I'll tell you you are. Tell me the political bloc of those people coming together. Tell me their political bloc, and I will show you a man who has been people from councillor straight to minister, been people from councillor straight to governor. So if people want to form a group, if you're forming a group, why not think of to say, okay, let all of us make what they were a group before? Well, Obi said no. If it was not my turn, everything will scatter. Kwakwa said no. If it was not my turn, same with Atiku. When the man Wike, who is a structure, was telling people no, let it go here, you people said no, and you entered the ring with him. And at the end of the day, everybody was injured. You ended PDP's fight before the primaries because of greed. Why will somebody like Atiku, who contested when it was zoned to the north, before now, to say, okay, after this your own, you win or you lose, in the turn of the south, there was an agreement. How come when you now knew that a Muslim man was leaving, and from the north was leaving, you said no, it must come back to you, and you used all your money bags and everything to make sure that you upstage everybody and you won that ticket. And people were telling you, no, this is going to be bad. You said no, it won't. It's not a form merger that is the problem. What matters a lot is to make sure that if I and Igebo comes together to say we want to unseat Wilson, will I be so liberal enough to follow him at the back?
And who stepped down for who?
The fight, that one is worse than this because it happened before now. Obi, there was nothing like labor. It was because after they waited and see that PDP was not ready to follow the zoning pattern, which PDP does not joke with. They don't joke with that. After Atiku has changed that pattern, people like Obi went off.
Okay.
Wike said, I will go, but you will feel the pain. And that pain was one of the worst PDP has ever had. Think of it. If Atiku, Obi, was on a ticket. Just think of it. How would that be political tsunami?
All right, I will come back to your Barry. Now, he said it's not about your desire to merge. He talked about structure. He gave examples of what happened in those states in our early democracies, 1998, where some group of great men came together to form a coalition and each position was spelled out. In this case, knowing fully well that, take it or leave it, they are fragments. There are disagreement in these parties. Do you think it's going to make an impact?
All right. Yes, of course. I strongly believe a house divided against itself cannot stand. You know, I always say that the present is a replay of the past. If you notice what happened, how was this APC government, how did it come about? How did it come in power? You know, during the election that brought in former President Buhari, you know, when PDP was in power, they thought the power would remain forever. But when there was a crack in the wall within the party, that was when the opposing party took advantage of it and exploited it to their advantage. Like my, you know, analysts here, they have said, they are actually very correct. You know, when the APC, how did the APC came about? AC and other, you know, parties,
AD and the rest of them,
and being led by, you know, Asiwaju, our current president. You know, of a truth, they took aside personal greed, you know, aside, like instead for the collective purpose of the party to be achieved, which is to unseat the ruling party as at then. And, you know, Asiwaju went forward, you know, he held the position of the party, you know, leader and chairman for a while, leader. Then, you know, they brought someone from the north, which in the person of Buhari, you know, to be their presidential candidate, and they solidified the SAT by making Asiwaju the leader of the party, and some other position they give it to the SAT. But just that head, the main man, the president, they give it to the north. And that, you know, the dynamics work so well that, you know, the mass majority of people from the north, they, you know, they backed their candidate in the person of Buhari, you know, despite the fact that former President Goodluck Jonathan had the power of incumbency. He had that to his advantage. He had the structure. So for me, if there's a collective purpose being standing on a solid foundation, whether you are fighting against someone that has structure or no structure, as long as the purpose is defined, personal greed and interest, because in politics there's no permanent friend, no permanent enemy, only permanent interest. Then you put aside greed and all of that, you form a united party that the sole purpose is to, you know, gain back power, and you're able to, you know, arrange your house in order. There's nobody you cannot unseat. Even, let me give an analogy in the Bible. Even when all humans, they decided to, you know, build a tabernacle that will reach heaven, and they were united, they were speaking one language, nothing could stop them. According to biblical history, they almost got to heaven until God himself decided to say, now brought division in their midst, and now they started speaking different language, and they could not unite again to achieve that purpose. Then the purpose was defeated. So I stand again on my point, which is, if only these parties that are attempting this coalition, they decide to put aside greed, you know, personal, you know, greed away, then they come together, put their ass in order. They can say, okay, let's give whatever zone that will work best. Then, okay, this part, all this part, all this part, all this. We are having this one purpose. Well, let's first of all unseat this party that is in power. Then after which one, then we can build on whatever we have in stake. So that's just my point.
All right. Now you heard this, but it's like, three of you are like, you know, saying the same thing. We're trying to give conditions for this alliance to work after all. Talk about alliance. Well, you talked about who will step down for who. I talked about greed and building structure. Now, in this scenario, this man is still there, still having this ambition to be the #1 man in Nigeria. We have yet another strong force, Peter Obi, also, that is well-known, popular, very, very strong, and vibrant, that has so much followers. Don't forget also the Kwankwasia movement in the north, NNPP. You cannot underestimate the Kwankwasia movement. 3 powerhouses. He gave an example of what happened between ANPP, AD, and the rest of them come together to form APC. Do you see them being able to put aside their interest to make it work?
Yeah, according to my late dad, he always used the word to say a crack is a crack.
A crack is a crack.
Yes, in politics, a crack is a crack, which means when there's a division that is intangible and it exists in its natural form, it means that you have to destroy it and rebuild it, first and foremost. Just like as he said, which of the new leadership are you grooming? I can forgive my brother here because I know he's not a core politician, he's a businessman, and he used a lot of biblical Bible, examples to give to try and make his point known. But that would bring my attention to the point that in the Bible, I remember Jesus Christ of Nazareth healed somebody on the Sabbath day. Because he hit somebody on the Sabbath day and it was against the rules to do anything on the Sabbath day, he was crucified. By the time questions was asked, between this criminal who was being crucified along Jesus Christ and Jesus Christ, who should be saved and who should be killed, the people in this world said Jesus Christ should be taken away and killed and forgive the criminal. So what I'm trying to drive at is that you can use different means and ways to explain and make your point known. But at the same time, all fingers are fingers on my longer. Several people may be in the same classroom lecture, some get first class, some get fail, some get pass, and whatnot. I want to make my brother understand that in politics, it is not very easy to unseat the power that be because of the unfortunate circumstances that runs with political arrangement. For
Jonathan was dethroned.
Thank you.
For instance, for Jonathan to be dethroned, it is because he didn't have a political tactician, someone like Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who was in the APC, who was in the ACN. Bola Ahmed Tinubu was a rallying point. Just like as I said, he beat people from councillors to become governors. He beat people from councillors to become ministers. For so many years, that man has sat down and built people around him. Intelligent people as well. That is what has put him on the top, at the top of the pyramid. Because people don't understand that dichotomy of his political abilities, they tend to misunderstand his stance as a politician. Today, I can tell you that guy, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, was a follower of MKO Abiola. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, outside the fact that he was bastardized because people thought him by his age, they said he was a bit too old. People didn't quite hate him, but they just said if he was a Suwajo of 10, 15 years ago, boom, we'll vote for him. But they felt he was a bit older. Now he probably should have relaxed. But even with the age and being old, he still won with numbers because politics is a game of numbers. The same Bola Ahmed Tinubu was one of those who fought Nadeko, who brought about democracy in this country that we are enjoying today. But because the country was not being run properly, and from inception, the PDP, the same people, the same old dogs, you can't teach new tricks, if I may say. I was on the studio with the chairman of the Labour Party, Nedo Agbaloy, and I said to him, I said, look, PDP and APC cannot be the same. Why? Because it is Labour Party and PDP that is the same. I said, why? I said, Peter Obi, the presidential candidate of Labour Party, went from ABGA straight to PDP. And he worked with Jonathan all through the time. So every bad policies that was made during Jonathan's time, he should be taking part in that blame. But at the same time, APC has always been a formation of AD, CPC, and NNPP, I think. Some function of it. Yeah. Now, they are pushing their house, they are building their house, not without blemish, because don't get it wrong, APC is not that different from PDP in the way that they operate. Most of the senior men in those parties have this kind of archaic way of thinking, with all due respect to them, whereby they don't understand the need to build young people and new leadership, whereby those young people also learn the same thing, to look behind their back. So, but the president, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, understood those things. And as I can tell you today, the same people who are calling for coalition today are people who are already old dogs. You can't teach new tricks. These are the people that the society is a bit tired of. Outside the fact that the obedient movement had a lot of, kind of reflex action, reactions from the poverty in the land, the hunger, and whatnot. They were not necessarily doing it because they felt that the whole fault lies on the APC.
All right.
But they were doing it because they needed a change.
A change?
Yeah.
Okay.
So to buttress my point, is the fact that if this so-called unitary coalition was to come up with new leadership, new faces, they may stand a chance. But I can assure you, this is a new government. The president just got into power. It may take some time now that the boat is rocking. If in another 2 years the currency stabilized reasonably, the energy problem is resolved reasonably, and maybe security is improved drastically, and then the inflow and export and import.
You're saying if things are normal?
Are normal.
Okay, fine.
What
I will come back to you. I will come back to
the
you.
next general election.
I will come back to you, all right? Because it's like, you know, you're madly in love with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, but definitely I will come back to you. Now, Obarai, he gave a very strong fact that whether we like it or not, Peter Obi left APGA to PDP. Because of the trouble in PDP, that's when he now went to Labour. Now, what if they're able to resolve that crisis? And it comes back to PDP. And for Kwankwaso also, having gone through what is going through right now in the North, having this gross against the APC, don't you think they will form a formidable team to edge out the APC?
Because I'm a politician, because I know politicians.
Yes.
I'm not a journalist. I'm a politician. It can never work.
How would you say can never? After all, it worked with AD, NNPP. Just very political party came together to form this coalition.
85 to 90%
Why would you say
Nigerian
that?
politicians at the top there are very greedy. So they won't take it. No one wants to step down for each other. That is why I don't see the person as Iwaju as a politician. Yes. Because that was a man that had the opportunity to become a president for Buhari and step down. He had another opportunity to become vice president. He stepped down and brought in somebody. So it's hard. Nobody will take it. You won't see it from any core normal politicians to say he wants to choose. They will choose. After they choose again. They will choose for their baby mama, choose for their wife, choose for their children before going. I'm telling you. Are you getting it now? So for a man to be that, to say, let me be the sacrificial lamb that will burn for people to go, it goes to show that those people are rare breed. The reason why I'm not scared about that coalition, the reason why I don't want to stress myself, would I be talking about 2024? The reason I don't want to talk about is that you are talking about same people. I just told you, I said, Atiku has been on the political space since 1999. In one governorship for Adamawa, when they wanted to choose vice president to vice president to Obasanjo, they withdrew from Adamawa to become vice president there. After 4 years, he already had the blocks of the governors and wanted to unseat Obasanjo. Obasanjo lost grip, and Obasanjo knelt down for him to say, forgive me, let me just complete before you come back. So Obasanjo, being a very tricky old man, knelt down, and that was the end. So that one buried him politically, that one buried him naturally, for the president to go on his knees to beg you to forgive him for the second chance. After that one, 2010, you continue the game till date. If we count 1999 to date, we're talking about close to 1990, that over 20 years. I get it now. Same man in same picture. Why don't that same man sit down to say, since 1999, these are my new group? I'm not his impact is not being felt even in where the state we are.
Are you not saying that he doesn't have a structure like Bola Ahmed Tinubu? Is that what you're saying right now?
That's a very the gap is like from here to Sokoto now. The gap. I'm telling you one rare breed, and I'm telling you one person I'm contesting now. Bola Ahmed Tinubu contested the first time as president and he won. A man has been contesting since 1999. Why, if you have your structure, how come since 1999 you were not able to build it and a man just came and toppled you and won? So we're talking about structure. I just told you about how to build people. Whatever is happening to anybody today, we should be able to seek advice to people. Try to build people, build. You have been a journalist now for how long since I know you. Try to build people, impact on people, make people see journalism as something nice and tangible. So that when you are relaxed, people can make you a reference point. If these other people that be contesting has structure, I just told you in Adamawa, if his grip is not being felt, it's supposed to be felt. You are talking about a man in Southwest from Lagos. They stole Ondo from Lagos, like that, Ogun, Southwest, pocket. A man has been dancing with only Adamawa and want to rule the entire country, telling you that he has wives virtually nailed with the state. Those are not structure. Structure is if I come now to say let's go to Ubaoka. Let's start in Ward 6 or Ward 7. I will tell you, call Efosa away from me. Call Osayeme for me. This is not my word. Now this is not my local government. It goes to tell you, you know people. So if you don't know people, politics is not about computer. Politics is not about speaking English. Politics is not that. If it was English, you wouldn't hear Caucasian movement. If it was English, you wouldn't hear it. Professors would have been masters in the game. Politics is not about I have PhD in political science. No. Politics is about experience. You know it. You know, you read it. So when it comes to this one, take it or leave it. When you are talking about politics, you stand up in awe for the president of Asiwaju. Because it's a block on its own. It's an institution. Okay. Asiwaju is not a structure. It's an institution. People should study it politically. Because this is a man that has been able to build step by step. He didn't make it from AD. Also looking at a man that has never decamped. These people, let's just joke with Atiku a little.
No, I want to joke with Atiku.
No, let's analyze.
Better.
In 1999 PDP.
Yes.
2003 PDP. 2007 came to AD or one other party. The other one again PDP. The other one again APC. Now again PDP. First of all, it goes to tell you integrity zero.
You cannot say integrity
zero. I'm not asking you, I'm telling you.
We have the right to associate and dissociate.
No, yes, associate and disassociate is your right. But your followers, you are supposed to let them know. Being static in politics is one of the things that can stand you out amongst equals. Be static. You might not get it well, but people make reference point to it. I still have the man that whenever I see him, I go on my knees to greet till date.
All right.
The person of the former governor of this state, Lucky Benedium, who has never, since 1999 till date, PDP has faction, PDP don't have faction, you see him there. Those are people you make reference point with. Not you just see today APC has won this, next thing you come out, I'm coming back to my home. The next tomorrow you say no place like home, you come back. People are following you, people are watching you. Okay. You cannot come and dance that political backup and dance and expect people like us to tell you are a leader. Do you know what it takes for people like us to maintain? As after PDP rejected us, they deregistered us, we've been APC, we didn't move here and move there, then you not tell me because you have the money or you have what, you have dancing here and dancing there, you tell me to call you a leader.
I'll come back to you. I'll come back.
Leadership without integrity.
But the thing is that let's make one thing. Everyone have the right to associate or dissociate. You have the right to decamp or to decamp, and the story just goes on. You want to react to one of his opinions? Go ahead. Now you have the floor.
I have a lot of reactions.
Go ahead. Just start. Take it from the top.
All right. You know, let me categorically say this. Like I said before, in politics, there's no permanent friend, no permanent enemy, only permanent interest. It's not impossible for there to be a coalition. Of course, when there's a common interest, there can be a coalition. Parties can come together and form a united bloc, united stand, and unseat or battle against any party whatsoever that they wish to. Then talking about the fact of in Nigeria, what we have in Nigeria, I will not call it democracy. I won't, because if you look at it, if you should check thoroughly, the people that we have in the so-called party is all cross-carpeting. Majority of the people you have in APC today, they were once PDP. Today they are in APC. Tomorrow, if the tide or if it doesn't favor them, they will jump to the other party. This is what we have seen. Unlike in the Western world, where you have Democrat and you have Republican, you are straight from. If you are a Republican, you remain a Republican. If you are a Democrat, you remain a Democrat. But in the case in Nigerian politics, it's not like that. You see people jumping from one party to another party. Okay, now let me tell you this now. Why is it that some persons here that are saying they were this party so and so, now they left their party, they went to another party? For interest. So the fact that is always for personal interest is always there. So for me, I said this, I don't see it impossible for the current president or the current party, ruling party, to be unseated by any party that understands the dynamics of politics. And mind you, let me stand to say this. Even President Buhari, before he became president of Nigeria, he contested for almost 3 to 4 times before he eventually became the president of Nigeria. So if you are holding on to that fact to counter Atiku and say because he has been contesting, he cannot come as president, I don't see that as a strong fact. And if you are saying if maybe Peter Obi was in APC, was in a PDP with Atiku, when Peter Obi was in PDP with Atiku, when they contested against Buhari, did Buhari not still emerge as the president? So it's beyond the merger, It's beyond the coalition. It's beyond bringing this or bringing that. Of course, it's obvious. As you can see, the lights are already turning on. Nigeria, we are tired of the current state of this country. We are tired of the current state of the politics, the politicians. We are tired of the parties that are ruling us. For me, on my personal opinion, I strongly believe that if a party formed from the coalition, a party that understands the dynamics of politics and come up with an ideology or with a purpose that Nigerians can buy. Like look at the Peter Obi scenario. A lot of Nigeria, personally, I have the opinion, I don't want to say things without fact here, but I am of the opinion that if things were right, there's a possibility that Peter Obi would have emerged as the winner. When I say if things were right, I mean that. Okay, look at how did Asiwaju became president. Less than 40% votes. Less than 40%. For someone that came for a new party like Peter Obi to have amassed that kind of vote and came out third, that's to show the political weight that he can pull. That's why I'm saying Nigerians, we are tired of the old set of politicians that we see. We are tired of the party. We are tired of the PDP. We are tired of the APC. Okay, look at since the current APC, they came into power now. What have they done? What have they done? Look at the PDP in the past. They brought this country they crippled this country. Look at what APC is doing currently. It's like shooting a dead man already. That's what's happening in this country. Look at the economic crisis, the economic issue in this country. If you had to say, okay, you can't say they just came in. They have held power for 8 years. This is like them going for 12 years now. So if you look at it now, Nigerians are tired of the political situation of this country. We are tired of the leadership, bad leadership. If the coalition, if they can bring a credible candidate, I'm of the opinion they should not bring the whether article or if they can bring a credible candidate that probably someone that we believe that have a pedigree, someone that have not been there, because we believe they are all the same, all of them, the PDP, the APC, cross-carpeting, all of them, they are the same. Let them bring someone vibrant, maybe a youth, or maybe someone that we have a track record of good leadership. And they come up and they have that coalition. These sole people that want to do the coalition, they should not come up as the one that will spearhead it. They should not come out as the candidate. They can be the one behind the corner, making sure that things go well. You understand? I strongly believe that they cannot sit. There's nobody in power that cannot be unseated. If what APC did to Goodluck Jonathan, mind you, PDP has structure. They have structure, good structure. Although I will say this that former President Goodluck Jonathan is a good man and is someone that we should all hold in high esteem in this country, because to a lot of degree, a lot of politicians would have not allowed, they would have used whatever power they could use, power of incumbency and everything, to make sure that they remain in power. But he's a man of justice and fairness. After the election, he considered defeat and he backed out. But I know some political talks who are our so-called leaders today who would have not in any way allowed such. So I'm saying this again, and I repeat, and I stand to be corrected, that if this coalition is formed and they put aside personal interest for one purpose, and they bring a credible candidate with the backup of these people that want to spearhead it, they cannot sit anywhere. Because Nigerians currently, we are tired of the state of this country.
All right.
We are tired of everything.
Thank you. Well, it's like you're all fired up. Where were you? All the time we were talking about all the same. It's said because of the current economic situation that Nigerians are suffering, a coalition might just be the answer. Not with the same old faces, but someone new. But still, a coalition can unseat the APC. Over to you. But you have just 5 minutes to call it a wrap on this segment, so please let's manage time.
I have a message for you. Every time that I'm deliberating on these issues that we're talking about, because I learned to quickly make my point across quite quickly. Good. You find something good in what I say, you want to use it as a way to ask the next one a tangible question. I understand that. Yeah. I come out with an arsenal when it comes to the issue of analyzing political display. You will tell me it is 5 minutes. I will only speak for about a minute or two. All right. Because you're a journalist. He's a non-partisan politician. They say what the old man will see in the dark. You will be on the top of the cliff in the broad daylight. You will not see it. He speaks like an obedient guy. Which is understandably fine. Are you an obedient? No, I know. Okay, because you see, by their fruits you shall know them. Yes. We are Nigerians. We also follow the same faith. You can't. You mentioned that I like the current president so much. No, I'm just. Don't listen. Don't look at the messenger because we are friends. Look at the message. The message. So the current presidency and the government, it's too early to judge them. Give them time. It is easy to destroy than to rebuild. Maybe in 2 years' time from now, if the current situation remains the same, fine and good. You can throw shades at the current government, knowing fully well that the current government did not really support enjoy the support from the last government because of the way the political space played out.
But come on, talk about APC.
Come on, it's the same party.
Wait. Every time you spoke on cross-carpeting,
cannot fall far from the
it's okay, he has the floor.
Every time you speak about cross-carpeting, you talk about APC, PDP, but I've just put it to you, and it's prima facie, written in stones, that Peter Obi left Labour Party, left APGA to PDP, and he's been a PDP member, and he was a member of the economic team during Goodluck Jonathan. All the economic decisions that was made that was disastrous, he was key, hiding under the umbrella of Jonathan being the president. You know what I'm saying? This same Peter Obi that you're talking about when it comes to the issue of character assassination, for instance, when he was in APGA, he did not even allow Labour Party to hold a rally in Oka, in Anambra State. It was that bad. He dealt with them. He never allowed them. So these opportunities, with all due respect, people who wants to be president by every means, who has moved from point A to point B, they've all shown desperation. Like we said, they should learn to groom new people, but I don't see the coalition of these same old dogs who you cannot teach new tricks, being able to unseat the particles. As I'm sitting here as a politician, I can already tell with two of you merging together, I will sit on my phone and win a general election. Because you don't seem to understand what this game is about.
Okay, all right, thank you so much. Well, your last line, Obari, taking, a kind of a lead from what you just said, is complaint that things are like hard. If it gets a credible coalition, damn, it's going to be the party outside the APC.
Yeah, you should understand me that I don't need to answer.
Yeah,
because that should be his pain. I'm paying too. I get it now. My fuel money has increased. My food money has increased. So if I'm being paid, but the truth remains, what we have now is not time to judge. That's just the truth. I don't talk about people. I don't talk about government. You should know that. Whenever I supported Buhari, and when he started failing, I became #1. Same way I did to Obaseki.
Yes, I remember.
Same way I did to Obaseki. I told you the Agric Revolution. I came here, I spoke, and when you deviated, I shouted. So for me, I start speaking almost immediately when this one was just. So I won't say anything. The same math I'm using here to tell you is good is also going to be the same math I will tell you he has tried or he has failed. The truth remains that Nigeria has moved backward. Leaders have not helped. Neither followers also help. Followers are worse off than leaders because leaders are minute. The followers are much. If the followers understand their power, the leaders will run in. It's a simple thing. But the followers, you hear they speak the best English. They dress very well. They tell you they know everything. The leaders don't speak English. Leaders don't talk. No good politician leaders talk. Because their words are used against them. They talk when there are just maybe 2 or 3 of them remaining. And when it's about 5, they keep quiet to hear you. And when you leave, you hear, this one just, if I say new enter, you say, hey, this one get far way to go. You say why? It's not necessary to talk. Are you getting it now?
But it's good to talk.
Yes, not in politics.
It's good to talk.
Not in politics. Not
Say
in politics.
The way it is.
Not in Nigeria type of politics. That is why the reason why you see some of us we face our business. Don't have a politician. Because they will tell you, don't give it to Obama before you say it to you, the whole thing will just open. Don't give him I'll say, why will you don't give me the Joseph, before that I know Joseph will come. So this is not time to lament. Lamentation will come, but not now. Merger. The people I started, the people I just saw doing the merging issue. Those people, for me, they can't fly. Just the way my brother has said, he also said, if we have new bloods coming, these people, you have the money and you have the maybe political experience. Think of it, if Asiwaju had been contesting for presidency since, you have no value. He had all the opportunities, everything working for him. He had Lagos in the pocket, you have not had value. So if you also know that you've contested, no problem. Why not call Wilson Marshall? Call Wilson. I've seen your fine face, I see the way you deposit. Come and go to this leadership school, unless I will go to sponsor you. All right. So you don't know, let that groom me. Tell me if If Mr. A stands now, who are going to stand on his back? If Mr. B stands, who are going to stand in his back? If Mr. C stands, who are going to stand? I get it that if you don't have that, just because you have the money to throw away, you not tell us what to follow you to where.
Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you so much. Our time is about the analysts to come through more light.
With the funny glasses on.
Whatever. Well, it's all about the coalition. You've heard their opinions and visitors get to hear from others as they come also to throw more light on this topic. Then we'll go into the judgment of the appeal court that still upheld, yes, the sack, so to speak, of Governor Yusuf of Kano State. Gentlemen, I appreciate the wonderful analysis. No problem. Thank you so much. Your opinions,
I should be thanking you.
It's theirs. It doesn't have to do with ID. Everybody spoke their mind. They spoke their mind. We'll be right back. Don't go away.
Thank you also.